You name it, any excuse you want to make.
Yeah. Were you surprised? We never really talked about this, but there's been a narrative out there that Vince really values his creations. He doesn't really love other people's creations. A lot of us wanted to see Starcade. We did eventually see it, I guess, like 6 years ago, but it was a house show. We wanted to see Halloween Havoc, and I think maybe NXT dusted that off every now and again. We wanted to see War Games. I know that's happened in NXT in recent years. But Great American Bash was like the only one that Vince really went with. Why did Vince like Great American Bash above the others? Were you surprised he went with a quote unquote NWA idea?
I don't think that it was the idea. I don't think that the names were anything. Again, it wasn't his creation, and it wasn't new, and it felt like you're banking on someone else's equity that they have in that name, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And I love the name. I always loved the name Great American Bash. I thought that that was the perfect 4th of July spectacular, the Great American Bash. Um, but, again, it's traction driven. Not enough people wanted to see it. It's that simple. It wasn't something that people were intrigued enough to go put their money down and sit down and watch. So they didn't. And with the rest of them, yeah, we just did War Games last year for in place of Survivor Series. It's not that it's somebody else's creation. It's either something that either doesn't understand or that wasn't as successful as people would like to believe. Great American Bash was something that Dusty did that was you go back and look at the original concept. It was David Allan Coe and country bands. On one end of a football field, you had a stage set up for a country concert, and the other half of the stadium, they had a ring and they had wrestling matches. That was the Great American Bash. If you like country music and you like wrestling, man, that's a perfect night out. If you like one or the other, it's kind of shitty, because if I've got to sit through the wrestling to get to the concert, then your matches aren't going to be something that people are really going to be invested in. And then if people are only there for the matches, don't want to see the concert, then how does that make that performer feel? So, you look at it and you look at the early success. I know in later years, it became just another pay-per-view event. I like the name, but some of them, they just didn't fit. And I think some of them were so identifiable with WCW that it would be confusion in the marketplace. That, now it's a WWE Starcade or
Right.
Halloween Havoc. And that's just confusing if people identify that still with WCW. You don't want whatever you're doing to be identified with another brand. And I think that that was the main reason.